Hey everybody, it's me Henry. Today we're going to talk about what are assets and liabilities. Let's get started. According to Robert Kiyosaki, he said a lot of people come to him asking how they can get rich quick. That is the one question that disturbs him the most because it is the wrong question. It tells him that they don't have the foundation of financial intelligence required to use the money well if they get rich. This is because most people don't understand that when it comes to being rich, it's not about how much money you make. It's all about how much money you keep. If you want to be rich, it's all about the assets versus the liabilities. The poor dad always told Robert Kiyosaki, you need to read books. And his rich dad always told him, you need to be financially literate. And he believed both were right. Books and learning are important, and so is a strong financial education. And if he had to choose one over the other, he would choose financial education. The importance of the term financial foundation makes sense when you think of construction. If you want to build an Empire State Building, the first thing you do is dig a deep hole and pour a strong foundation. If you want to build a mansion in a suburb, you pour a 6-inch slab. The problem with most people who want to get rich quick is that they're trying to build the Empire State Building on a 6-inch slab of concrete. They haven't gone deep. They don't have a firm financial education to shore up the financial foundation. And he said, thankfully, his rich dad took the time to teach him about money and pour a strong financial foundation for his life. And the number one rule he taught him was you must learn the difference between an asset and a liability and buy assets. It is so simple a rule that it is almost anticlimactic. But if you want to be rich, this is all you need to know. Is rule number one. Is the only one rule. The reality is that most people struggle financially because they don't know the difference between an asset and a liability. Partly, this is because schools don't teach people what an asset and a liability is. And partly, this is because those who do learn the concepts learn them from accountants who make them much too complicated. His rich dad gave him a very simple definition of an asset and a liability. So, what is an asset? The simple definition of an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. Many so-called experts on money and accountants would have a much different definition that involves complex mathematics, but the reality is that unless something is putting money in your pocket, it's not an asset. There are many things that can be considered assets. These include things like investment real estate, a business, products like books or art, or the dividend from stocks and bond investments. Rich people, they will focus on building their assets, and that's the reason why they're so rich and they're getting richer and richer. And up next, what is a liability? The simple definition of a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Common liabilities include things like cars, vacation, clothes, eating out, unused subscriptions, and more. If you look at the budget of a poor person, you will see that it is full of liabilities and has no assets. The interesting thing is that there are some things that people mistake as assets that are really liabilities. This is because they don't have the high financial intelligence and they take at face value the advice of so-called financial experts. And let us all understand the difference between an asset and a liability. To illustrate this, let's look at something most people view as asset, their home. If you look at the traditional balance sheet, your house will be listed in an asset column. For many decades, since the publishing of Rich Dad and Poor Dad, and he has stirred controversy by saying your house is not an asset. At its publishing, the financial industry howled and mocked him for saying this. In 2008, the start of the Great Recession, caused by massive defaults on subprime home loans, people weren't laughing anymore. And why was this? It was because they realized the hard truth that many things that are considered assets by economists and finance people are really liabilities hiding behind smoke and mirrors. Let's revisit the rich that simple definition of an asset and a liability. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket, and a liability is something that takes money out of your pockets. It's just that simple. Using this simple practical definition, your home is a liability because it takes money out of your pocket each month in the form of mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs. It does not put money in your pocket. Only if you're able to sell it at a profit does it become an asset. Many people impacted by the Great Recession discovered that their house was a liability when they were foreclosed, sold on a short sale, or sold at a loss. Conversely, a rental house can be an asset if you do your due diligence correctly and are able to collect more rent than you have cost each month. The difference between the rent and the expenses is the net operating income, and it is cash flow that flows into your pockets each month. Therefore, it is an asset. And finally, Robert Kiyosaki, he said, the rich don't work for money. Very simply, the rich don't work for money in the form of income like employees do. Rather, the rich invest the money in assets that put more money in their pockets, such as real estate, stocks, bonds, notes, and intellectual property. The middle class and poor work for money, and employees and invest their money in liabilities that take money out of their pockets, such as mortgages, consumer loans, and credit card debt. If you want to be rich, you have to begin investing in your financial education today. And your first assignment is to begin studying the differences between assets and liabilities. By building this firm foundation, you will understand more about money than 99% of the world and be on your way to not just getting rich and making money, but keeping it too. That's the sharing for today. If you like this video and you find values from this video, please consider to hit the subscribe button and turn on all the notifications so that you're not gonna miss out any video just like this from this channel. And most importantly, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. I would love to read your comments and reply to your comment. And I hope to see you in the next video.